What's up, everyone? It is your girl GELBEAUTY here, aka Grace, and today it's time for the battle of the Scooby-Doo palettes versus these other palettes that I have in my collection. So I decided to just put both of them in the same video, so whichever one you want to see, you can just, like, you know, fast forward and watch whichever palettes you were interested in compared to whatever other palettes you already had that were battling. But I wouldn't try to separate them and make them two separate videos because, girl, I ain't got time and it'll take too long. No. I'm trying to leave here at 6 o'clock. I ran off and took the Sorcerer palette home with me after I got done doing a certain video, so I will have to do the Cosmic Wanderer compared to that palette another day. I wanted to get that done this week, but I ran off and took the palette home like dum-dum since I had to do it with something else. Matter of fact, I had to compare it to the Scooby palette, and then after I did that, I forgot I had to do this one and took it back home. So you all, I will film that video this week. I promise. I'm off work this week, so it will get filmed. Because I have the Natasha Denona palette coming. I think it's supposed to launch on my birthday. So I pre-ordered it. Hopefully it gets here on my birthday and I can film it that day too. And then I can just go ahead and film that too. But anyway, back to what we're filming now. So I got these palettes to compare to two other palettes. And as soon as I saw the color stories of them, they felt really similar to me. So I was like, yes, we have to battle these palettes. We have to. Now you can let me know if you want me to battle this palette alongside the Cosmic Wanderer as well, and then maybe I'll do a double in that video. I'll try to make sure this video is up for that one, but I make no promises. So I might just go ahead and film both parts, and then, you know, when that video goes up, I'll get the feedback from you all. But since you asked for this one first, I want to make sure I get it done. But see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like these are really similar as well. Minus that one pink shade that's in here, I feel like these are really similar. So I was thinking about doing a battle with these, this one and this one, along with the Sorcerer palette, and then we can see how many of them, how many of the colors versus each palette will work better. And then if you like a certain brand better than another certain brand, then you can do your purchasing based upon that, because this one is still the most expensive out of both two that we will be comparing. So when you open it back up now, show it to the palette we're actually comparing. So this is the Bloom palette from Klarity Cosmetics. This is the first time Klarity will actually be on my channel as far as, you know, me using their products, because I actually bought this palette a while ago. Asked if y'all want a video. Nobody said they did, so I didn't worry about it. But I feel like it's similar enough to this palette to where we should be able to get some similar looks. So I'm going to go ahead and do it for you all in this video. The only thing is, I don't know if I want to use the shimmers in here, because if I remember correctly, I don't like the shimmers in this palette from Klarity. I have a couple other palettes where I like the shimmers. It's just this one I don't. So we might be doing an all matte look, because I know I like the mattes in here, and I want to see how the mattes in here are going to compare to this one. But in the next one, we're going to do a battle of, I will definitely be using the shimmers, because I want to see if their shimmers are going to be just as good and sparkly and all that as this other one. So y'all know we had to do it. As soon as I saw this palette, what is this, the Ruh-Roh Raggy palette, I immediately knew it reminded me of Betty Jean's It's Freaking Best palette. So I was like, we have to do it. Like, the color story is just too similar. I will not ignore it. I'm the battling queen. I'm not going to ignore it. I mean, look at this. I feel like it looks so similar to Betty Jean's palette. I wonder how she felt when she saw this come out. Honestly, I really would just, if I could be a fly on the wall, I want to know how she felt when she saw this coming out. I mean, I know she doesn't own Color Stories, but I feel like she's the person who put this one on the map and made it really popular and made lots of other people look into colors like this that they wouldn't necessarily look at them. So that's why I was like, I have to do this and compare them. Plus, I only did one look with this on camera, because if you all remember, it took forever for this to arrive. So by the time it got here, I figured you wouldn't care anymore, so I didn't do a video on it. I did do one look though in her newest palette video with this one, so that's why this will be a second look for me. So I kind of want to do both of these on camera though, instead of doing the way I normally do, which is one eye off camera, one eye on, because like, since I feel like I haven't really showcased either one of the palettes we're battling them with, I want both of them to be done on camera. But I think that's actually what I'm going to go ahead and do. But what's on my eyes right now is the Olden Side Merry Christmas palette. I'm zooming on in so you can see. So I just got done filming this. This will go up this week. I don't know when the one I'm doing now is going to go up, but let me go off camera, take this off my eyes, and then we'll get into both these palettes. I'm going to start off with, okay, so this is the eye that I did with the It's Freaking Best palette. So I decided to do this one off camera just because I need to save some time. Plus, it wasn't like I haven't done a look on camera with this before. You all saw in the Betty Bean video for the Hollow Bean palette. So I swatched all the shades that I'm using in that palette versus this palette. So the swatch of the first color is from Betty Bean's palette, and the second one is Glamlite. So Betty Bean, Glamlite, Betty Bean, Glamlite, Betty Bean, Glamlite. So as you can see, they're most likely not going to look the same, even though they look similar in the pan. But we'll see how this goes. So I'm gonna prime my eye. I meant to use the Glamlite eyeshadow primer. I did not, so I'm going to use the one that I did use. I feel like it should still be fine though. They're both like really light eyeshadow primers. I just need a really light one to make sure that the brighter, lighter colors pop on my skin tone. was just automatic because I've been using this eyeshadow primer all day for all the looks I've done. I have definitely been behind my social media this week. I'm sorry, y'all. I haven't posted anything to Instagram since Friday, but I didn't go to work Friday, so I didn't have an eye look to post. And I didn't take a picture of the eye look I did Friday, so I didn't have that to post either. Let me get some brushes to do this look with, because I just realized I have all the brushes out. For the first look I did, but I don't have any brushes out for the look I'm about to do now. And I don't want the colors being contaminated by using the same brushes, so I need to get a brush. Here we go. I need this brush for my crease shade. We'll use that for my outer V. I need one more. And then I'll use the same brush for the shimmers because I feel like that one is never good. Okay, so I started off with the green shade on this eye. So I'm going to start with the light green shade in the other palette and see how they transfer. I feel like they look about the same. The weird thing is I feel like when they were swatched out, as y'all saw, they didn't look the same. I feel like they're giving like the same depth and darkness once I'm putting them on my actual eye versus the swatches that you saw. So that's interesting. The swatch does not match this, but like on the eyes I feel like it's pretty spot. Please ignore the glitter on my eyes. I just did the old side video and y'all know the shadows are extra like sparkly and glittery, so that's why I look so sparkly and glittery. My bad. I can't help. I should grab another brush like this because I'm gonna need it for the in the corner. So I'm gonna just do the outer V for right now. Even though I actually did the lid first and then the outer V, and y'all know I normally don't do that, so I guess I should probably just go ahead and do it the way I did it this time. So I have to find another brush that I feel like will work for this. We'll just take this Sigma E33 Detail Diffuse Crease Brush and start with that when it comes to the shade that's on the lid. So I literally just started patting in here, and as you can see, this is much darker than the one in Baddie Beans palette. So it's not giving the same effect I was hoping it would give on the lid. It's giving a deeper version of it, but you know, I did this on purpose, and I wanted these to be the main focal point, because if you're looking for those particular shades in her palette, I wanted it to be seen that they're not going to be the same. And the shimmers aren't going to be the same either, but I just put them in the inner corner. I feel like we all know the, if you've seen this palette for any amount of time, the Baddie Bean one anyway, you know that the metallics there are more smooth and buttery, whereas I feel like the ones in this Glamlite palette are more of like the glittery type. So I'm trying to get this up at the beginning of next week. But see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you can definitely see that this one is deeper. Now, it's not a whole lot of deeper like I was expecting it to be, but it is deeper all the same. I wanted to make sure that that was seen and clear. So as you can see, this one is a tad bit deeper than this one. These shades look even on the eye, but when I swatch them, they don't. Now we're going to go to the deeper shade that I put on the outer V to see how those work. And then we'll put that one green shade in the inner corner just so we can see the glitteriness between the two. So. Again, it feels like they're about the same. So let's go ahead and blend this on in. So I actually feel like they actually look pretty close. Like there's slight differences I can tell because I'm sitting right here with them. But I feel like if you just walked up with me on the street, you might not necessarily know that these are two different palettes. So, okay. And the fact that this is 20 bucks and similar. Only thing I definitely say is I like Baddie Beans better just because I don't like the fact that these metallic shades are so glittery. Like that's kind of what turns me off about the Glamlite one. But otherwise, I feel like they're doing a pretty good job of duping her palette, which I feel horrible about because it's like I've had her for the longest and I love her palette. But they came through with the dupe, and I just wanted you all to see how much of a dupe it really is. So I figured we could go ahead and do this one. I didn't plan to do this look first, so I don't know if I'm gonna put this in the order of this one being the first look or not. But here is the finished look. So you can see this inner corner is brighter and has more of like a glittery finish, whereas I feel like hers is more of a satin metallic that gives you that nice wet looking lid, if you will. So here's both of them side by side. Remember, this is Glamlite and this is Shroud. So this is what we're working with. I'm trying to decide if I want to put eyeliner on or not, because I'm thinking about just taking the thumbnail without the eyeliner and just leaving it like this, and then we go on to the next look. But the next look, I am going to do both of them on camera, just because, like I said, I have not done any videos on any Klarity Cosmetics products, and I want you to see both of those on camera and see how they work side by side on camera. So I'm gonna be right back after I take my look at me, I think I'm sexy picture with this on, and then we will go into the Klarity versus the other one. So I'm gonna take these swatches off my hand, get new swatches ahead of time, and then come back. Okay, girl? Okay. Okay, so y'all, we're in the last video of the night, so I'm super excited. And then so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna compare the two palettes now. So y'all remember we doing Bloom from Klarity versus the I forgot, I didn't name the name of this Scooby-Doo one, the Creeps and Crawls palette. So what I did was, those are my keychains, I swatched the Klarity item first and then Glamlite first. So Klarity, Glamlite, Klarity, Glamlite, Klarity, Glamlite, Klarity, Glamlite, Klarity, Glamlite. So these are the shades we're gonna use. Y'all know these are classic colors for me, so I'm all about it. So I just need to remember I need to use different brushes because we're doing different things. So let me see, what do I want to start with? Wow, I didn't take the plastic off this mirror out of the way. I'm glad I didn't though. So I'm gonna start with the navy shade, of course. So where's my brush? There it is. Okay, so we're gonna start off with this navy shade. It's called Blooming Around. And we're putting Klarity on this eye, obviously. I did notice that when swatching the Klarity shades, like they are much thinner than the Glamlite ones. So I felt like I had to build up the swatches quite a bit just for you to see what color and the opacity actually was versus the Glamlite ones. That's something I felt the need to share with, since you know we're supposed to be comparing both of them. So the mattes in the Klarity palette are much thinner than the mattes in the Glamlite palette. And as you can see, it blends out nicely and easily. It gives a decent amount of opacity when it goes on the eye. It's just when you're swatching it, it doesn't give the best swatch. So that's just one of those examples of why people say they don't necessarily like swatches, because it's like the swatch isn't going to necessarily determine how well the product is going to work on the eyes, because you know it's kind of not, because they swatch like crap. But as you can see, the pigmentation and opacity on my eyelid is very nice, and I only dipped into it twice to get this much opacity and color down. So you can't necessarily always look at the swatch, because I built up the swatch just so you could see the swatch, and now it's going on my eye perfectly fine. I need a brush to put this OPV shade on. So I'll take this brush now, and we're going to go to the navy shade in here. This would be shade number 9, because if you all remember when I showed you this thing, they just had numbers 1 through 10. They didn't name any of these shades. So now I do feel like the one from Glamlite is much deeper just off the bat, and it's giving more opacity when it comes to the depth off the bat. That's something to be mindful of too, because to me it just looks like it's a much deeper and pigmented navy. But you know, Giselle has way more money back in her than Klarity does, so that might have something to do with these two formulas and the difference in the formula. Because I'm telling y'all, I feel like the Klarity mattes just feel much thinner than the ones from Glamlite. I'm trying to run into about the same amount of place on my face, which is a little bit above the brow bone. So now we have that evenly set up and done. We're gonna go back into the Klarity palette, and I'm trying to figure out what shade I'm gonna use yet. I kind of want to just do what I normally do and put like the purple up here and all throughout the crease. So I think we're gonna do that next. So let me get another one of the same brush. I have a couple of Sigma E33s, my detailed diffuse crease brush. I really like that for this. I'm trying to find the other one right now, so it's taking me so long. I'm digging like, where is it? That's not it. As usual, not prepared with the brushes at all. Here she goes. So I have like 3 or 4 of these because I really like this brush. So we're gonna start off with this one and use it in the Klarity palette. So wait, no, I can't. I have to use the blue I'm using to crease with that one because of the other brushes used. So I'm going to have to change my plans, but I got 2 of this other brush, I think. This one or the other one. So I sort of picked 2 of this exact same brush. There they are. So we're going to use two E45s instead to put the purple on. So it's called Just Pollen Your Leg. Like, you know, pollen, because it's a bloom palette instead of pulling. Ha ha ha. So I want this over the top of this. I feel like it's giving it. Oh crap, y'all! I put it on the wrong eye. Crap. Oh well, I have to wipe that off and try it again. So it's giving a nice gradient to the eye though. So we're just gonna take it all the way across up here. Yeah, y'all, I totally just messed that up. I think I'm gonna just put some more eyeshadow primer on top of it and just put the correct shade on there. Because I don't have to wipe off the whole eye just because I used it on the wrong side. But I'm so used to, you know, having to film and do this eye so I was on automatic. Like, yeah, let me just start rubbing this on here like a crazy person. But it looks like a pretty gradient on both eyes. As you can see, it's nice one with the Klarity side and it's nice with the Glamlite side. But let's take a little bit of eyeshadow primer and put it on top. Where is the primer? I'm trying to put enough where it like blanks out the color completely and we can just go in with the whole other color and it'll be fine. Yeah, so that should suffice. As you can see, I just covered it up completely with eyeshadow primer. Rub the excess eyeshadow primer with my hand off on this brush because I need to wash this brush anyway. Where's my lid for this? Oh, well, I'll find it when the camera goes off. So now we're going to go to the other side of the eye. Is this the one I just used? No. I separated the one I just used. So let's put down this palette, pick up the other palette, and try again. So now I'm going into this shade right here. That's the purple I used. Originally I was going to use this purple, but when I swatched that, this one, it looked like it's close to the other one because this one is much lighter and the other one is kind of deeper. So I felt like this one would work better. And it worked out better because I did not use this one in the last look. So now you get to see how this color looks versus the other color. Now it might make it look more opaque than the other one just because y'all know I had to layer the eyeshadow primer on top because I'm so used to, like I said, doing this eye on camera and the other one off camera until I just automatically went to this eye. I'm praying we don't have to happen again, but I feel like you'll be able to see the difference in the front versus the back because like here you clearly see the color isn't giving as much opacity as it is back there just because there's more eyeshadow primer. But I'm doing what I can, sis, okay? Since I screwed up that part and I wasn't finna start all the way over again because it's almost 6 o'clock now and I'm supposed to try to be home by 6 o'clock and Adriangameover needs to eat because he ate lunch here because there's food here, but it's like, you know, rather have home cooked meal for dinner at home, so I'm trying to get done quickly and then I can come back tomorrow and film whatever I need to film. I'm thinking about just come back on my birthday and film, even though your birthday you should probably be relaxing, but me being me, I don't know how to do the thing called relax. Other people know how, but I have no idea how do you do that. Just the whole relax thing, how does that work? I'm gonna take a nice brush to dust over. Let me just take this brush and dust over. Dust over both sides, why not? Dust underneath on both sides as well to get rid of the excess eyeshadow powder. But yeah, so I'm liking the way it looks so far. I think I took the purple in a little bit lower on the Glamlite side, so you know what I did to that side, I'm gonna have to do this side, so I have to bring it down a little bit lower now here than I had planned on it, but you know, it's fine. Whatever, it's fine. So here's how we looking so far, y'all. Looking pretty good. I mean, this is a classic me look, so I feel like, you know, nobody should be too surprised because it's a classic me look. Next we're gonna go into the crease shades. So the crease shades are gonna be the turquoisey looking shades like this. So we're gonna start with this shade and put that in my crease. It is called, what does it say? Bristle while you work. Whatever that means, I'm not sure. My mom is more of the color cultures. I I don't care about flowers. I don't like flowers. She'll leave the window open trying to give her flowers, like, you know, sunlight and stuff. And I'm like, can you close the windows? And I don't like your flowers. So, yeah, so I'm going to blend this in. The battery's trying to die, y'all. So that means I'm going to have to go stop doing this and come back and we can do the Glamlite side. But I'm trying to get this side done on camera with you all. So I'll have to come back and start on this one and then flip to the other side. But yeah, this is what I'm working with. Okay, so this is what it's looking like. You got the nice little turquoise shade in there. I feel like it's kind of close to the navy on this particular side, so it's not going to show up as well as I'd like. But I feel like on this side, you'll be able to see the difference. Anyway, let me go get another battery, and then we'll come back and do the Glamlite side. Okay, so we left off on finishing the, Klarity side. Now we're going to go into the Glamlite side. So we're going to shake shade number 8. Which is the more turquoisey-ish shade. And see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you can immediately see the difference on the Glamlite side with the colors versus this side. I feel like in their palette, the shades are just too close in similarity to where you don't see a true difference in the colors because of the undertone that they picked for their navy shade. I feel like it's just blending in with this. Whereas because this navy is much deeper, I feel like you can distinctly see the turquoise in this versus the turquoise in the Klarity side. But that's my personal opinion. You can comment down below and tell me if you feel differently. But I feel like I see it slightly, but I just feel like it's more impactful and obvious here than it is over here. And in the swatches, you would think, well, I mean, I guess not in the swatches, because in the swatches it looks like it's more bluish than turquoises, even though in the pan I feel like it gives you a little bit of wannabe turquoises. So, you know, again, these are just my personal opinions. So now let's get to the part where we cut the crease, because we have used all the mats now, so we need to cut the crease and start doing our, you know, shimmer shades. So we only have one shimmer shade. They're both, I mean, as far as for the lid, y'all know I usually do like 2 and 3 on top of the lid, but I'm like, I don't feel like it today. Just trying to wrap it all up real quick and cute like and go home. I just need to remember to make sure I take this card with me so I can edit this video. Because last thing I need to do is not take it with me and then I can't edit it. Because I'm editing Odin's Eye right now while I'm filming this. So I'm trying to edit everything. So I'm going to try to cut the crease with both of these right now when it comes to the glitter glue. So that way all I have to do is go back and put the shimmer on both sides. I did notice that the Glamlite one is a more blackened shimmer, whereas I feel like the and again, the Glamlite shimmers are going to be more glittery than the Klarity ones, so just be mindful of that when I'm doing this. Klarity's more of that metallic satin type finish, whereas Glamlite is all about like the sparkly extra glitteriness of it all. So just bear that in mind when you're looking at this and you're seeing this. Like, Glamlite is going to be more sparkly and glittery and extra. I'm just telling you now. And I feel like their shimmer has a lot more depth to it as well. And I like the sparkles that they chose since they were doing it that way. So we're going to start off with the Klarity side. Of course, I'm going to put this Glamlite palette down. And the shade is called Your Rose to the Occasion. So they like to do a lot of little puns. So let's just start off back here. And I like this color. I think it's a nice navy blue shade. As you can see, it's really nice. Impactful metallic going on with it. So we're just taking it all in. Sparkle you see on my lid is from the Odin's Eye palette, so it has nothing to do with like the what do you call it, the Klarity palette. It's just because I just did the Odin's Eye video and then I'm doing these videos. The sparkle is still stuck to my lid, because although I rubbed it off with makeup removal wipe, y'all know the best way to get makeup off is like a cleansing balm or like actual cleansing. Since I didn't do that, all the sparkle you see on my lid here, like that extra sparkle you're seeing, that's from the Odin's Eye palette. So I just wanted to make that clear, because I told y'all that these are more metallic, and then you see this on my lid and you're like, what's going on? She said they're not, you know, sparkly like that. Like, they're not. It's just Odin's Eye has taken over the show, even though, you know, like their portion of the video long since ended. They decided they was gonna come over here and take all over, so you know that's what happened. Sorry, they're just over here doing too much. I'm sorry. Now we're gonna go to this one. So I used the shade number 4, this one right here. And that's what swatched on my hand that you saw. And we're going to go into this shade. This shade kind of reminds me of the blue shade in the Old Eye palette. The Christmas Eve one. As far as the like color of it. And the shimmer impact to it. Now this one is a little bit more deeper base when it comes to the black than that one is. But I feel like they still give the same type of sparkle. But the Old Eye one just looks a little more wet and foiled. So I like that about it. And again, I'm talking about the Christmas Eve palette from Old Eye. Or Old Eye. Because according to Angelica, that's how we're supposed to say it. We're supposed to say Old Eye, not Old Eye. But I'm really liking the way both these eyes turned out so far. Okay. Now, let's get into the corner shades and then call it a day. So I'm using this purple right here, number 5 for Glamlite. Since I'm already holding the Glamlite palette, I figured we'll just finish off and get that one done. And then I will pick up the Bloom palette, and then we can talk about my thoughts on both palettes and which I like the best and which palettes I prefer for each battle and why. Now I did put the palettes away for the other battle because like I told you, I'm trying to get out of here ready to go home, so I'm not going to pull out the palettes again, but we can still talk about it. Now we're going to go into this purple, and we're using the shade Irisible, like the iris and irresistible combined. It seems to be like more of a fuchsia-ish type shade as opposed to a purple like that one, but I had to match the shades that I matched up with the closest, so this is what I had to work with, girl. Okay, this is what I had to work with. And this is what it looks like on the inside versus this one. So as you can see, you distinctly see that this one is truly more purple, whereas this one has that fuchsia-ish wannabe like purple look to it. So let's back them on up now and talk about my thoughts. Gotta remember to leave the Glamlite palette here so I can compare it to the Cosmic Wanderer as well. Anyway, so about these palettes. So when it comes to this battle, in my personal opinion, I just like the Glamlite formula better. And since I don't like necessarily like the shimmers in the Bloom palette, like this one right here is really chunky and flaky. It like literally came off in like flaky chunks and didn't swatch the best. Like I'll show you right now. See, like I just swatched that shade, and where do you see it on my hand? It's supposed to be right here. It hardly did anything. So I just don't like the shimmer formula of this particular palette. There are some shimmers in the other palette. Well, swatching out like this, it eventually gets there, but it's like I don't want to have to put in that type of work. If I want to just put it on my lid and go, I feel like this is a very difficult shade to use. I'm glad I didn't use this one. I was trying to use it with the lighter shimmers just to show you all on camera because I knew that this was an issue shade in this palette, but and then I'm not matching anything else in the palette. But I just like the Glamlite formula and performance overall when it comes to this battle. So Glamlite is easily the winner for me. The mattes in here are nice. It's just you're going to have to build them up because I feel like they're really sheer and thin when you swatch them. And then when you put them on, and for the opacity, I feel like it has to be built up a little bit more than Glamlite, which is another reason I wasn't a huge fan. I do like the shimmers in here though. When it comes to the satiny ones, when it comes to like the glittery flaky-ish ones, those are difficult to work with, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. So just overall, because of the fact that the Glamlite one is easy to use, the price point is better, and I'm used to working with that formula and the Clarity formula. That was the very first palette I got, and I had such a hard time and difficulty with it. I'm gonna have to say that the Glamlite palette won this battle. So the Creeps and Crawls won for me. However, when it comes to Baddie Bean and its freaking bats versus the Glamlite palette, I feel like they look pretty much the same. So it all depends on who you want to support. I know because Shroud had their issue in the past of taking quite a bit of time getting the palettes to people, you might not necessarily want to buy from them. Or it could just be the price point for you, because the Glamlite price point is definitely more appealing at 20 bucks. I think there's a bundle where you can buy both palettes for 34 bucks instead of spending 40 bucks. So, I mean, it just depends on what your preference is. I prefer Baddie Bean's palette just because I feel like she originated that type of color story and vibe that everybody fluctuated to and loved. And that's why her palette took so long to get to people, because it sold out and they weren't expecting all that. So I prefer Baddie Bean and Shroud's palette when it comes to that battle. But it's not to say that the Glamlite one is bad. Y'all saw they looked just about the same. The only difference was the shimmer and little differences when it came to the colors that I use on my eyes. So I like both of them. It's just if I had to pick, I'm going to pick Betty Jean's palette every single time. Like, she killed it. She did that. That's her baby. And I wouldn't dare want to take it away from her just because I can get a better price point option because I am one of her followers. I do like her content. So it's that kind of situation for me. But if you don't have that situation, that connection with Betty Jean, I would say that it's fine to get the Scooby-Doo one because it's giving you the same type of color story. Just be prepared for those shimmers to be quite glittery. They're not chunky glittery, but you're gonna see the definite glitter sparkles in them when you use it. So those are my thoughts on both the palettes. I say Betty Jean won for my personal reasons, but the Rut Row Shaggy palette was, or Rut Row Raggy palette was good. And then when it comes to the Clarity and Glamlite, I just think the Glamlite one does better for me and my preference when it comes to makeup. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.